Good morning, welcome to Something Saturday. So today I thought I would show you what I was actually teaching at the Craft Alive show at the weekend. So I know that some of you might have been able to join us, and there was a lot I know that couldn't make it. So I thought, well, you know what, you don't want to miss out, so I'll show you anyway. So we were doing a mini camera shutter card. So here it is. It's just opens up like that, and you get a little sort of like how does it go? It goes you know how the old cameras used to click click. So that's what we were making at the weekend. So I thought, well, I'll show you how to make this, and what I'll do is I'll put all the measurements and everything onto my blog, because I had a couple of the kits left over. So what I've done is I've just used one of those. Right, so first off, it is a little mini card. So where's my normal size cards? Oh, excuse the fact that everything might fall onto the table, but that is a normal size card. So as you can see, it's actually a half a size of this. So it's very, very cute. And you know, sometimes you actually want a tiny card. Like yesterday I was sending off something, and I just thought it would be really nice just to chuck in a little card with the thing that I was sending off. It was something that somebody had bought from Tom. So Tom being my husband, that is, just in case anyone's new to me and doesn't know. Anyway, your little mini card starts off with a piece of A6 cardstock. So that is your A5 in half again. And then we're going to gatefold that. So to gatefold it, it's actually scoring it in at 3.7 centimetres. As I say, I will put this onto my blog, so you don't have to jot down all the measurements. You can just go there and go, oh, thank goodness for that. And then you'll need a little piece like this. So this will sit inside your card. So that will become this piece. And you'll be cutting a hole out of this, so we're going to go with the balloons. This piece is 4 inches by 2 inches. I swapped 2 inches for the designer paper because it comes in 12 by 12 or 6 by 6. In this case, it comes in 6 by 6. So it's quite handy to want to cut it to 2 inches by 4 inches, because then you know that you've got another 2 inches down the bottom. And yeah, anyway, it works. And then the 2 little pieces that you need for the front, so I cut those to, again, the 4-inch mark, and then they're just 1 inch. So you will notice that they're a little bit wider on the sides than they are on the top and bottom, but that's fine. It just makes the look of the card, I think. Then you'll end up with like a little extra square after you've cut a few of them out. And that you can use, this is obviously a different paper, same, what's it called, same pattern of paper. This is, just trying to remember, this is the Bright and Beautiful paper. So the designer series paper does have a few more, does have a few more days left on it. So this paper, the Bright and Beautiful designer series paper, is in that sale, and it's gone down from £21.75 down to £18.48. Well worth it. It is such gorgeous paper. And then the other thing you're going to need is something that matches what you've got here. So this is 7 centimetres by 5.9 centimetres. You will find that your A4 cardstock will actually cut directly into this, which is why I picked this size. So I've also scored it in at 1 centimetre. So I'm just going to grab my bone scorer and get those to score down nice and firmly. And I'm also just going to do the same thing with my base card. And I've got a couple of little score lines on the end of this one, which are only 5 millimeters in. So you could probably go with 1/2 inch, but 5 millimeters, 1/2 inch, who's counting? Which way up am I going to have my cardstock? Ooh, I kind of like that for the outside, actually. So now what we're going to do is we stick this down first, So where are my glues? I think half my glues are still packed away from the weekend. So I've got a Tombow here. Hopefully there's glue in it, which does appear that there is. So yay. And that just sits nicely onto there. I know that there's a little bit of a gap at the top and the bottom and a bigger one down the sides. So that's that. I might just mop up that little bit of glue there. And add this. If you have gone ahead and cut these as I have from the same sheet of cardstock, then they should run concurrently, if that makes sense, and hopefully you can remember to put them on the correct side each so that the pattern just keeps going across the front. Oops. Uh-oh, and it moved. There we go. Lovely. Just get rid of that excess glue on there. Beautiful. So that's my outside of my card. Then we go inside the card, and these pieces here get fitted next. So these now create this little section here, which you can sort of see there, and then that will fold it in. And this, the reason that it sort of like comes up like this is what gives you the pull away power. So you really have to have it so that they are going to sit on the edges like that. Hopefully that's making sense. All right, so let's add a little bit of my Tombow to this. Ooh, very naughty, I didn't use my mat. Let's pop that onto there. So just fold down the side piece onto it. And you're aiming to center it, which I'm not sure whether I actually have, but that'll do, close enough. And the same on this side, a little bit of glue on there. But this time you actually want to flap this one down and have it so that it's not like that. Do you see what I'm getting at? It needs to be even. And let's just go there. There we go. Doesn't matter if it's not completely even, but as close as you can get it is probably a good idea. There we go. So that should give us, yeah, you see it's very slightly out, but that's not going to make a difference to it at the end of the day. So the next thing we need to do is we need to cut our hole that's going to be in the designer paper. So I'm using these dies here, which are the Beautiful Balloons dies. And in fact, they coordinate with this Beautiful Balloons set, which is that I just think they're fabulous. I have used them so much. Yeah, you can obviously use them for any kind of celebration, not just birthday, but yay, go you, and thank you, and oh. So we're just going to grab out our little mini cutter because we don't actually need to have the big one today. And this is just so dinky. It's like a little toy. So there's this one and this one. So this can sit on here. I'm just going to shift it up a little bit because I might as well cut myself a little balloon to put on the back as well at the same time. So let's just go there and there, aiming for about the center with the big one. And let's just cut that. It's just such a dinky little cutter, it really is. Hang on. Just every so often the little tiny one seems to get stuck. Let's pop that away. If you're what are they called? If these clear, oh my goodness, acrylic plates, there you go, that's the word. If you find that they're starting to bow a little bit, what you can do is you can just pop them in together and aim for about the middle so that it just presses down on them, and sometimes that can help to straighten them. But I do find that as you're cutting with them, you do need to be turning them and, you know, putting one on top, one underneath. You kind of do need to mess around with them a little bit like that. You can't just keep using the same one on the bottom and the same one on the top, because they will curl and curl and curl, and then they'll become beyond redemption, as it were. So I just thought I would mention that in case you're using them and going, oh my goodness, they're all curling up. So this will take that out. That's what I find really useful, is the putty end of my take your pick tool. When you've got a big flat stamp like this, you don't really want to poke through the hole, because otherwise you could be poking a hole into your cardstock as well. So I find that the putty end will actually just take it out like that, and then you don't have to worry about it getting a little hole in it. Let's just chuck those back into here before I lose them. There they are. And we have these two pieces. Now, where's my, there it is. So the next thing that I've done is I've actually used the 2-inch circle punch to create the shape that comes into this little camera shutter. However, we need to find out where we want to punch it to. So the way that I've done that is I've taken my take your pick tool, again, very popular tool this. Did you know, because this is really funny, so I had a couple of people who bought some of these, one of these last year, and in the middle of showing them how to make the card, they'd stuck something down and we needed to lift it off. So of course I just whipped this out and went, here we go, let's just lift it off with this. And the girl said, oh, I never knew it had that. I felt really bad. I thought, oh, I obviously didn't do a very good job of demonstrating it. But yes, it has that if you take this part out, which is really useful. And it does really do a very good job of picking things. So then find the approximate middle of your card. And what we're going to do is just create a tiny hole. We just want it to go through. So we'll just persuade that to sit back flat again. All good. So you need the hole to go through both sets of these cards. It doesn't matter if it goes through the back, because in fact that's what we've created this little one for, just to go onto the back of there. But we do have to have those holes in here, because that gives us our guide of how far we have to punch in. So then this goes into here, and we now know that we want to punch to about there. Hopefully. But if it's not quite right, we can go back in again and do it. So the reason I'm holding on to the sides here is just to make sure that it's going to be approximately even. So if you cross these two pieces over, it's not quite right. And the punch does tend to move as you do this anyway, so let's just take a tad more off there and see whether that does it. Might just take just a fraction more off this one as well. There we go. I reckon. Yay. There we go. That's done it. So it doesn't matter if you end up with you know, a few little extra pieces as I've just shown, so long as it will close up like that. So if you cross the two pieces over, you'll know whether it's going to kick itself in the middle there, as it were. But that is how it is. And look at this. That will now sit into there. However, in the meantime, we want to stamp something onto here. So I thought I would go with a yay you this time. There we got the yay you, and we're just going to match up the misty moonlight colour that I've used on the hingy bits. So yay you. No, we're just going to go with it straight, I think. Was that straight? Not far off it. Lovely. Clean that off in a minute when I find my cleaner. So the next thing to do is to actually stick this down so that we know where this can then sit. You're just going to add a little bit of glue along here. Let's grab my glue thingo again. My silicone mat. You don't want to overdo the glue. Trust me on this, because the glue just goes everywhere if you do. And do one side at a time, because if you try and do them both at the same time, again, probably going to end up with glue everywhere. And same on this one. Give a bit of a wipe around with that. And tuck that underneath. There we go. It won't end up sitting completely flat, which is good, because you don't really need it to sit really tight down, if that makes sense. So I'm going to need to find my glue rubber. Again, that's something that, oh, have a look at that. Excellent. Sad to say Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these anymore, but they are so useful. So here's hoping that that they bring them back. And you know what? I've just put that on the wrong way around. I was really hoping to have the white at the top. Never mind. That's okay. I can live with that, I guess. Oh, well, I'm going to have to live with it now, because there's no way I'm taking that off. Once it's down with Tombow and it's stuck, I tend to find that it does not like to come off easily. All right, so you do want to make sure that the edges of the balloon are definitely going to stick down, because if they kick up underneath this, then you're going to find it makes it quite difficult to open and close the card. Let's go there, and we will just persuade that all the way round and stick it down really well, preferably without very, very sticky fingers going on top of it. And then it ought to close. And if it doesn't close, it usually means that the bottom of the balloon is just kicking up on it. Obviously, you can do this with different shapes. There we go. Just like that. And then this little hole on the back is where I'm going to add my other little balloon to it. And then you're none the wiser that we put a hole through the whole thing, are you? except for, you know, obviously you and I know because I'm the one teaching it and you're the one watching it. So there we go. A little miniature yay you card, or a little miniature happy birthday card. And the other thing I did do with this one, mainly because it ended up, unfortunately, it fell into an ink pad. So then it had like a stripe of ink going across the middle of it. But I've actually added like a little doorknob to it, which I may do with this one because I'm not happy about the fact that I went and put these on upside down. So I reckon that would look kind of nice. And then I could add a little bit of bling to it too. There you go. So hop on over to my blog. I will put all the measurements up there. And have fun making your own. And come back and join me next Saturday for Something Saturday. And we'll see you then. Bye.